Emulsified asphalt is a liquid form of asphalt wherein solid particles of asphalt are suspended in a water solution by means of very small portions of materials known as emulsifying agents. The characteristics of the asphalt portion is unchanged from pure asphalt, so that when the solution is dried, the remaining portion is pure asphalt and contains no solvents. All types of surfaces which are subjected to wear can be successfully surfaced with emulsified asphalt, since emulsified asphalt is known as the most usable form of asphaltic material, since it requires no heat and contains no harmful solvents. We see here examples of asphalt streets, highways, airport runways, badminton courts, and tennis courts. All of these various surfaces can be constructed easily and economically by the use of emulsified asphalt. One of the most outstanding developments in the use of emulsified asphalt has been in connection with the waterproofing and stabilizing of soil to be used as foundation or base for any type of wearing surface by stabilizing with emulsified asphalt. In order that we may see some of the actual operations of the engineer in planning the construction of a road, we have here an unimproved county road. The engineer is taking samples. Note that he did not limit himself to a sample of just one portion of the highway, but he took representative samples of various parts so as to get an accurate check on the entire roadway to be covered. These are tagged as to their respective positions in the roadbed, and the engineer is off to the state laboratory to accurately check his findings. At the laboratory, he will have every means of checking this base soil through numerous tests. Before making these tests, however, his samples are measured and weighed so as to get exact proportions of each of the various samples obtained. One of the most simple preliminary tests is to make a sieve analysis of the soil to determine the approximate clay, silt, and sand content of the soil. After these are determined, the engineer can make calculations of the quantity of emulsified asphalt needed to waterproof this soil. After making these calculations, the engineer, to check himself, makes several trial mixes and tests these mixes for their degree of stability and repellence to water. Now here is a demonstration of the results which the engineer obtains. We have on the left a specimen of soil which has been molded without treatment. On our right we have a specimen of the same soil molded after treatment. Note the effect of water. Actually, when the engineer collects his data, he subjects these treated samples to at least 7 days of water absorption and makes many measurements of stability and percent water absorption immediately after the 7-day exposure to water. Here we have 2 men taking small portions of the soil, mixing them with water and emulsion on an ordinary mortar board. When they have completed the mix, they mold it into bricks and allow these bricks to completely dry. Now we can see the effect of treatment by another demonstration with these bricks being made here. Now the brick on the left is the brick made of untreated material. The brick on the right has been treated with emulsified asphalt. You will see that the water has an immediate effect upon the untreated brick, but has little or no effect upon the treated brick on the right. Please bear in mind that this is a demonstration test and not the actual means of measuring the efficiency of treatment. The means used of measuring the efficiency of treatment are tests that give definite measurements of results and at the same time gives the greatest possible exposure to the treated specimen. Now, these pictures of tests and demonstrations show you some of the procedure which the engineer follows in designing one portion of his road. Durable highways, like durable houses, must have suitable bases or foundations so that the engineer must first consider his highway foundation. For this base to be adequate, it must be made of some type of base material which will give support to the wearing surface regardless of the weather. Ordinary soil makes suitable bases as long as the soil is dry. The cross-section which you see now shows the two phases of a highway surface. Note the lower phase is the waterproof soil, which contains only enough emulsified asphalt to waterproof the clay and silt content, while the asphalt in the top portion binds the stone particles one to another, so that it is a mixture of pure asphalt and durable stone. Now let us see how some of these roads are actually constructed. Here we have a soil stabilization job in progress in Major County, Oklahoma. This is known as a Woods road mixing machine, which picks up the soil from the road, mixes it with emulsified asphalt, and redeposits it into a windrow. This machine lends itself to this type of construction because of the ease of control. Note that the tractor both pulls the machine forward and propels the mixing drum. The large tank you saw in the rear is a compartment tank which contains water in one compartment and emulsified asphalt in the other. You also noted that there were two sets of trucks being towed behind the large tank. Now one truck is carrying water, the other emulsified asphalt. You will see that both the water and the cold emulsified asphalt are pumped into a large storage tank by the use of the same pumping equipment. Note the manifold arrangement, which allows one pump to handle both of these materials. In order to complete the highway after mixing, the mixed material must first be spread and then rolled. And here we have the completed base. Next we have another type of equipment doing the same kind of a job as the one just shown. This is at Binger, Oklahoma. The equipment used here is Oklahoma State Highway Department equipment. Here again, you see trucks being hauled along by the tractor. Here, however, the truck carries only emulsified asphalt, which is ejected into the scarified soil by means of the sub-oiler. Water is then added by means of the water truck and mixed for the use of the disc harrow and the blade grader. Here the material is completely mixed and later spread, as in former operations. Note the consistency of the mixed material as it rolls off the end of this blade. This is ideal consistency for mixing with this type of equipment. It is easy for us to see these demonstration tests and this equipment working on the various roads, but it's difficult for us to visualize what has actually happened to the soil in the road after treatment with emulsified asphalt, so that here we have something that would seem to be foreign from highway building. This group of houses, however, is constructed from the same type of building material that's used for the base of the highway just seen. The mixing procedure shown here is practically the same as pictured in foregoing scenes, but to give you the full benefit, we will show the entire procedure. Now, everyone knows what we mean by a brick. We have seen ordinary soil being screened to remove lumps, then mixed with emulsified asphalt. And the completed mix is poured into forms instead of being dumped on the roadbed. The material partially dries in these forms, and later the bricks are turned on end, as you will see, to facilitate drying, and then these waterproof bricks are laid into the walls. Now you'll see the various phases of this construction, and finally the completed construction itself. These houses help us visualize the type of material that is formed when emulsified asphalt is used to treat soils for construction of a suitable base for a highway. Obviously, the treatment transforms ordinary soil into a permanent building material and allows the construction of highway without excessive cost due to transporting and processing aggregates not available in the vicinity of the road to be constructed. Now here we have another cross-section of a modern highway. So far in this picture we have been concerned only with the lower portion of this section, which is the foundation for the road, like the floor of a room. Now let us consider the surface coating, the part that stands the wear, like the rug or carpet on the floor. This is a section of Oklahoma State Highway where the base or foundation course has previously been constructed, and the very efficient machine which you see is the property of the Oklahoma State Highway Department and is being used to mix emulsified asphalt with a local, easily available aggregate. The gravel is previously dumped onto the base or the foundation of the road, then picked up by this machine and accurately mixed in predetermined proportions with emulsified asphalt. You see on top of the machine the finished mix flowing from the mixer and down the chute into the spreading machine. Now here is the finished highway constructed with the machine which you have just viewed. Please bear in mind that it is not always necessary to have these effective machines to use emulsified asphalt. The following scenes will show varied and sundry smaller and less complicated machines which can readily be used for mixing emulsified asphalt with soils and aggregate for construction work. First, there is a small concrete mixer being used to mix emulsified asphalt with the suitable soil for base construction. We will not go into detail concerning this particular base construction, but we will go closer to this machine and view its use in mixing surfacing materials. Note that the materials are moved to the mixer from stockpiles by the use of wheelbarrows, which are weighed before dumping into the hopper. The man on top of the machine is accurately measuring the emulsified asphalt by means of the container which you see. The actual time required for this mixing is approximately the same as the elapsed time required to show this operation. The material flows readily from the mixer, and next we see it being dumped from trucks to be spread on a previously stabilized base. Now note that the material can be easily shoveled and raked into place so that when it is rolled and cured, it forms a durable asphaltic surface, which you will see later. Now this job you see is a large private estate, but the material can be used with equal ease for driveways in a small home such as this. Notice that there is no special equipment being used here. Now let us go back to this private estate. This is known to be one of the finest homes in the Southwest. And it is indeed of interest to note that not only the driveways, but all of these sidewalks were constructed by the use of emulsified asphalt. Since these are the last scenes in this picture, we would like to call your attention to the fact that you've seen emulsified asphalt used in many types of construction, from the small private driveways to the large highway projects and equipment, varying from an ordinary plasterboard to the latest in mixing equipment. And we could show you many, many more illustrations in different places under different conditions. But we hope that the few we have selected will at least give you an insight into the reason for the ever-growing demand for emulsified asphalt.